Good afternoon, it's Sunday, and this is a video for you for the week. Every now and then I'm going to try to showcase a book that I've read that I felt valuable and just try to highlight some points on it. So this week I'm going to do that in a short video about a book that I reached out to a couple of salespeople who are very successful in this industry, and I asked them, I said, if you could read one book, what would that one book be and how did it benefit you? And I was surprised to find that this book came up on two different people's list, so I thought it was worth looking at. Y'all know that somebody who I find a lot of value in what they say is Jerry Acuff, and he actually said he had read this book 69 times. So I felt like, if this man decided to spend that kind of time in this book, it might be relevant to me. So the name of the book is called Cybernetics. I know that's a mouthful, and it's probably, I had no idea what it was about when I started listening to it. Now, when I tell you I read books, I listen to them. I'm not a very good reader. The vision thing is an issue for me, so I listen to books all the time. And this is one that I finished this week, and it was extremely compelling. And so anyway, Cybernetics is the name of it. And one of the main premises behind it is to get you to visualize yourself being successful. And if you can visualize that enough, literally over and over and over again, then you're going to increase your confidence and increase your self-image in a positive way and be able to have almost like muscle memory. You'll hear me say that repeatedly during this video of just watching yourself be successful and how that can play out in your life. Having said that, there's 12 steps to this. I'm going to run through them kind of very briefly and encourage you guys to maybe go on YouTube. There's some short videos that are just about this topic, and as opposed to the 10-hour book that you could listen to. But just hear these 12 things out, and if you find it might be something valuable to you, I would encourage you to go and listen to more things on it. So the first one says that you have a self-image, and that self-image can either be positive or negative, and you get to choose if it's positive or negative. I want to encourage you to know that you are created for a purpose, and that I believe that the Lord has created you in a way that you can be successful in whatever it is He's called you to do. So having said that, you should have a positive self-image and choose that walk. The second component says that you have a success mechanism inside of you. It's kind of like a pre-wired computer, if you will, that you really need to tap into to tap into that positive self energy so that you can go and have a productive goal. And I know that's a lot of verbiage, a lot of lingo. A lot of times we are told that in order to understand something like this, you need to listen to it at least 5 times. That's what I was told about listening to this book. That's why Jerry has read it 69 times. So having said that, one of the things that this says about this success mechanism in you is if you can envision yourself having done something in the past that you were successful at, how did that make you feel? If you ran a race that you won, or you were in a relationship with someone that was just very positive. Maybe you did a DIY project that turned out really, really great, and you shared it with friends and got all kind of kudos for it. Maybe it was something at work. Maybe it was something philanthropic or whatever. But whatever it was that you did that was successful and you felt really good about it, think about that and think about it over and over and over again. Not obsessing on it, but think about it in a positive way and how it made you feel, and how that confidence in you grew and your self-image was improved or maybe increased because of that activity that you did. Moving forward with that, you can use your imagination either constructively or deconstructively. And basically that's saying that if you do focus on a lot of negativity in your life, or maybe ways that you were not successful, and that is where you dwell, then your self-image, your thoughts about yourself are going to be negative. And it's hard to be successful in life if you have a negative feeling about yourself. So the next thing it says is that the opinion of yourself is what counts. If you think you're a success, then you are. And so in light of what we do every day, I am wanting you to get the message that I believe you can be successful in this. There's a reason that you're in the position that you're in. And some of it, whether you're successful or not, is really a choice I know some of you feel like, well, I'm out there, I'm killing it, I'm trying to do it every single day, and I just am not feeling the success of this. And I just want to encourage you to stop and maybe implement some of what this says. Stop and visualize yourself being successful in the role that you're in. And we're gonna about to kind of delve into that. The fourth thing here, it says, not only think creatively, but be creative. And I had to listen to this one kind of over and over again because at first I thought it was saying for you to just think positive thoughts, to have these self-affirmations, if you will, that you say to yourself over and over again. But it says to go beyond this. Try to think about a coach who has athletes that he's coaching, and he tells them, I want you to visualize yourself being successful in the game, whether it's basketball or football. Picture yourself catching that ball and running to the end zone. Picture yourself swimming that race and beating your best time. And think about when you take breaths and how you do your flip turn and how you dive into the pool or how you take off at the race, at the starting block or whatever. Visualize every aspect of it. Basically, Jerry Acuff said this is what he started doing. Now, Jerry's story is one that at age 50 something, I think 52 maybe, he lost his job, and he had been very successful in what he was doing, and wasn't a reflection on him. It was just one of those corporate things, and he basically had to reconstruct his life. I mean, he had 4 months of reserve that he was able to live off of, but he had a family to feed. And he said that he read this book, and this was the catalyst that changed his life. He began to sit down and envision himself as a success. He watched himself over and over again say things and do things and implement strategies in his head that he wanted to be able to act out in his life. So, role playing, as corny and as weird as that may sound, envision yourself being in a conversation with a doctor or a nurse or an MA, or at your office. Maybe there's some negativity there. Picture yourself in conversation with them and talking about our product, or being the go-giver, or being the person, the problem finder. And watch yourself, what you say it over and over again, and just watch yourself being successful. Don't watch yourself being in there and being shut down by the person at the front desk, or being shut down by the MA. Watch yourself being successful. Play it out in your mind. You walk in and you have a conversation with the person at the window, and they let you back to the back. And while you're back there, you come in and you put a smile on somebody's face because of something you brought, or just a conversation that you're having. And then you have a brief conversation about patients, and the light bulb, you can tell, goes off in the eyes of the MA or the nurse or the doctor. And then you have a conversation about a patient who needs help, and how, just follow it all the way through to the referral in hand, Medicare. You're walking out, they call you back and say they've got 2 more they can't wait to give to you. Come back at the end of the day and you can pick it up. I mean, visualize that whole thing and you being successful in that, and do it over and over and over again in your mind. We're talking, they suggested doing this for 10 minutes a day. The next thing says, I want you to concentrate on that success. Again, it starts talking about things that may hold you back from thinking about successful things. And again, it's just eliminating negativity in your life. Number 6 is that your beliefs are going to drive your behavior. At first, I didn't understand this completely, and so I listened to it over and over again, but there's a lot of power in what you believe. If you believe you're going to be successful, you will. The belief then can become the habit, and basically can help you eliminate the negativity in your life. So one of the things they talked about is how you may develop what we call muscle memory, and that is where you do something over and over and over again to the point that your muscle just automatically knows what to do. I don't know if you have ever driven to a place so many times, and then you get in the car and you're driving along and you don't even realize how you got to where you are, except that maybe that's just the route you take every single day. It's that kind of muscle memory that we're talking about. If you can envision yourself doing something over and over again in a positive way where you're successful, then the belief is that you will be, okay? Number 7 is kind of a little out there, but I believe in it. It's called the quest for happiness. For you to know that happiness does belong to you. And everybody knows who Eeyore is on Winnie the Pooh, and how there's just people, you know, that are like that, if it's going to happen and it's bad, it's going to happen to that person. They just kind of thrive on negativity and have a lot of negativity in their life. Don't stop. I'm sorry, it says don't step on others' toes and don't step on your own toes with negativity. Number 8 says encompass the success mechanism. Again, that's one of those things that I was like, what are you talking about? But he goes on to explain what success is by using the letters of the word success. S is that you have a sense of direction or a goal. And so if you are not a goal maker, I want you to have a goal at the beginning of every week, at the beginning of every day. What is your goal? What do you want to accomplish? Write those goals down. I know you've heard over and over again that people who write their goals down are more successful. U is for understanding. You understand your needs and the needs of others. This is how you can be successful. C is that you have courage. Sometimes I tell people I do have to have that 20 seconds of courage where I kind of talk myself into doing something. And there's a speaker out now that's a motivational speaker who also, she had lost her job, and she talks about how just really hard for her to get back in the saddle. And one of the things that, and it sounds again so hokey, but she was having a tough time getting out of bed. She was just depressed. And she envisioned one day the launching of a rocket, and that they started counting down, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and that rocket just took off. And so she said, sometimes when I'm just kind of hesitant and I'm feeling, I don't know, not motivated to do something, I just count backwards from 5, and next thing I know, I'm out of bed. I don't have to depend on an alarm anymore. She says that, she's going in to make a sale, and she's nervous, and she just doesn't have the confidence. She'll count down from 5 and go do it. And it's just whatever reason that gives her the motivation to get up and go. If that works for you, perfect. So the S is sense of direction or goals. U is understanding. C is courage. The next C is compassion. And we talked about this with being able to find out things that your practices may need. What kind of compassion do you have, and are you sincere in that? E is that you have esteem or self-respect. The S is for self-acceptance, and the last S is self-confidence. If you have those things, then you will be successful. Of course, the antithesis to that is the failure mechanism, and F is for frustration. A is for aggression of the wrong kind because you're frustrated. That makes you I have insecurity, leading to L, which is loneliness, U, which is uncertainty, R, resentment, and E ends up in emptiness. That is what failure is. We don't want you to have a failure mentality, so focus on the positive. Number 10 is be your own plastic surgeon and remove the scars from the past. Remember to relax and to focus on the positive. So again, one of the things it talks about at this point is how we need to relax every day, and we just don't do it. We're so busy. There's the tyranny of the urgent, as I call it. When you get home from work, there's always something that needs to be done. I love you. You probably hear my dog drinking in the background. But anyway, if you could just be your own plastic surgeon and get rid of those scars that are, don't focus on those, but really think about how maybe those scars made you better. And instead of being bitter, like we always hear, I want to be better and not bitter about the scars that are in my life, and to learn from them in order to move forward and be successful. Number 11 says to stand up under stress and positively approach stress in your life. We've all heard the analogy, how do you eat an elephant? When something is looming, when something is too big, it just seems overwhelming. And lately I feel like a lot of what we've been asked to do is, do our job where we're making calls, and then we have all this administrative things to do, and then we have these videos we have to watch, and we have iTrain we have to do. And it could just be overwhelming. One of you said that you felt like a fish out of water. You just felt like, overwhelmed. So the whole analogy of how do you eat an elephant? You can only eat an elephant one bite at a time. And y'all have heard that before. Break the everyday activities down into small steps. Count backwards from 5 and get after it. You can do this, and I have full confidence that all of y'all are going to be successful here with LHC. The number 12 is the last one, and it says be a winner or choose to be a loser. And I'm going to just pray that y'all are going to choose to be a winner. Choose to be successful. Choose to have that positive self-image. Refuse to let your negative thoughts shrink you and discredit you in your world. Use your past successes to grow and to grow your confidence. So again, let me just put very simply what this looks like on a day-to-day basis. When I asked Jerry, I said, how did you implement this? He said, Ashley, it was very simple. I took 10 minutes, just 10 minutes every day. Sometimes that was in his car. Sometimes that was before he fell asleep at night. Sometimes it was when he was having his morning coffee. And he would make himself sit in a chair and he would envision him being successful in whatever it was he was going to be doing that day. Now, he did want to repeatedly do one activity, and he reviewed that 10 minutes a day. He just played it over and over and over and over and over in his mind, again to the point that it was like muscle memory. One of the things the author talks about in this book is how there was a concert pianist who hated to practice, hated to practice, but he did this. He would sit down and practice in his mind, and he was excellent at what he did. And I wish that worked with me running a marathon. I could watch myself run and have the benefits of that. But part of what he talks about that I'm not going to go into detail about is just the subconscious and the power of the subconscious. And again, as weird and out there as this may seem, there is a lot of power in that. There's a lot of power of being self-affirming. There's a lot of power in saying, I can do this and I can be successful, and believing it. If you watch yourself be successful over and over in your mind, you're going to be. So if you find any of this valuable and you think it might be worth looking into, Cybernetics is the book that we've been talking about today. And hopefully you will be able to envision yourself being successful and therefore being successful. You'll have a great day.